From the bowels of the dark interwebs came a discovery, videos allegedly showing members of a clandestine cabal. We suspect this mysterious group, which is shadowed in secrecy, is just as nefarious as the Trilateral Commission, the Bilderbergers, and the National Honor Society. Nefarious, devious, probably plotting the destruction of mankind. Why has nobody heard of this group investigators call the Genoa High School Hall of Fame? The brave men and women of the All-Class Alumni Festival Committee are risking their lives showing you these videos. If you have any information regarding these videos, like who made them and what their agenda is, please contact one of the members of the committee. Your future depends on it. The Enchantments. Their names were Merle and Myra McDonald, graduates of Genoa High School. Was there more than meets the eyeball with this man and wife who sang over karaoke music? Investigators say yes, that their music contained subliminal messages like gulp your beer, elbow whoever is beside you, and chew with your mouth open. Hideous messages meant to create chaos. When the Enchantments performed in the Genoa Legion Club in May of 1988, one senior citizen ripped the hearing aids out of his ear, threw them on the ground, and was so weak he had to crawl out of the Legion Club on his stomach yelling cuss words. His elderly wife was a step behind. She was also angry, and as she was swearing, she belted a waitress in the stomach, dropping her to her knees, screaming, quote, "Nobody wants to hear idiots sing, nobody," unquote. Charges were dropped after the old woman apologized to the waitress. Was the cause of this outburst the subliminal messages in the music? The entertainment reporter for the Genoa Leader-Times wrote, quote, "Merle and Myra McDonald can't carry a tune in a bucket, and the speakers were too dang loud. Who had the stupid idea of charging people to watch this? It is driving me crazy," unquote. It is not surprising, but mysterious, unexplainable events occurred each time the Enchantments performed publicly. Was it because the singing was so bad, or were investigators right and the music contained subliminal messages? We may never know. Oh, and yes, they are members of the Ghs Hall of Fame.
Sponsoring this video, Pure Creek Water, lovingly made by our friends from the Beaver Creek Bottling Company. Delicious, nutritious and sometimes chewy, this refreshing bottled water comes straight from the river. No additives. Some dietitians recommend drinking a couple bottles of Pure Creek water as a meal replacement. Oh, and ignore anything you hear from the EPA, those people are always trying to stir up trouble. Pure Creek Water, buy it by the case, drink it by the gallon.
Many have asked over the years, well, several people anyway, did that bolt in his head give Bobby Berganovsky psychic powers? Is that why he became a legendary water witcher? How did this all begin? Thanks for asking. I'll tell you. Bobby and a few friends rode their bicycles out to the Loop River to watch the bridge being built. Nobody knows exactly what happened, but a bolt was driven into Bobby Berganovsky's head. Doctors felt it was too risky to remove it. He became known as Bobby the Bolt, and some say he was a normal kid other than not blinking, while others say he was spooky, evil, and possibly dangerous. Now, many ask if that bolt is the reason Berganovsky has wizard-like powers that enable him to find water where no one else can. Bobby the Bolt told the Genoa Leader-Times in an exclusive interview, quote, "I shock people a lot, might be from all the static electricity from the bolt," unquote. After he won the prestigious Boone County Water Witcher of the Year award, Bobby the Bolt was inducted into the Ghs Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Bobby the Bolt! Coach Curly Grabass was a legendary figure in the annals of Genoa football. He is responsible for convincing the Board of Education to invest in hard plastic helmets, scrapping the leather headgear. Coach Grabass told the board that he was convinced that not only would the helmets be safer for football players, but that test scores would improve with fewer head injuries. Coach Grabass had the support of the school administration. Superintendent Alfred DeMonte said he didn't know if the student needed to run into the building so many times to prove the point. The boy was staggering around in circles by the end of demonstration, but he was still conscious, so that clearly proved the hard plastic helmet was safer. The helmet demonstration also convinced doctors that Joey Boblinski should be cleared to play. Coach Grabass said Joey was a great receiver, he had soft hands, but unfortunately, a softer head. The Orioles needed him to play to have a successful season. Coach Curly Grabass was the head coach at GHS from 1937 to 1948, and was the winningest football coach in GHS history during that time frame. Congratulations, Coach Grabass!
Some called her an inspiration, always encouraging students to push the boundaries of reality. But some say her annual field trip to the cemetery at midnight on All Hallows Eve for a seance was crossing the line. The GHS Board of Education did not approve of biology teacher Clairvoyant's disturbing teaching methods. Ezra Mangus, the student who nominated Clairvoyant for induction into the Ghs Hall of Fame, said she was a special teacher because she taught students, quote, "You don't have to be a psychic to communicate with the dead." Unquote. Despite the support of the student body, Clairvoyant was fired despite her denials of digging up the corpses found in her basement. Mangus said, quote, "There were no witnesses, and no evidence other than a copy of the book, Resurrecting the Dead, which was discovered in her basement laboratory. In law lingo, we call that circumcision evidence. She is out of jail now, and we should do what's right and vote her into the Hall of Fame." Unquote. Welcome to the GHS Hall of Fame, Clairvoyant.
This week on Friday Fright Night, it's the classic horror movie from 1960, Chickens of the Corn. They came from somewhere, or maybe nowhere, but they are here now and they will peck your brains out. This movie stars Buddy Ebsen and Shirley MacLaine, and features an all-star cast including Bob Denver, Ben Vereen and Shirley Booth. Frightening, gory, with lifelike costumes. You will never trust chickens again. And producers included a warning, "It's so scary," quote, "Please consult your physician if you have a serious medical condition before watching this movie. We are not responsible for heart failure. Watch if you have the courage." Chickens of the Corn, this Friday night at midnight on the Lifetime channel.
It is a mystery that has never been solved. Why is nobody investigating the disappearance of the Genoa Leader Times reporter who went missing just days after his article was published about finding a movie crew on the sands at the head gates filming a moon landing? Melvin Greenbaum was last seen in the fruits and vegetables section at IGA, sniffing a rutabaga, then he was gone, never to be heard from again. Grocery store worker Thelma Splurge, an eyewitness, told police, quote, "Greenbaum was sniffing a rutabaga and then was gone," unquote. Yes, there was a report that Greenbaum was seen at a gas station in North Bend, but it was never confirmed. You know how them North Bend people are. Anyway, Greenbaum is a 1960 graduate of Genoa High School who, according to faculty members, was destined to become a great journalist. In the moon landing story, Greenbaum wrote that if it was just a regular movie, then the director would not have been insanely angry, calling him a traitor to the country and telling security officers to shoot him. Greenbaum was able to dodge the bullets and make it back to the Leader Times office where he wrote the story, despite fearing for his life. The story was squashed by the national media. They refused to report on it, so up yours Walter Cronkite. Melvin Greenbaum, missing journalist who dared tell the truth, has been inducted into the GHS Hall of Fame postpartum.
Everybody remembers Miss Mona, and how she was fired in 1963 by the Genoa School Board for being a beatnik. Mona Kowalski was loved by her third-grade students, but parents and school board members were appalled by her after-hours lifestyle as a rebel-rousing beatnik. Some say she would bebop her way down the hallways at school, beatnik style, dancing to music only she could hear. One parent told the school board, quote, "We can't have our teachers sitting on curbs along Main Street bobbing their heads to bongo music. She is almost 50, she should know better." Unquote. The school board agreed and she was relieved of her duties. Why? Because Miss Mona was too danged hip for her own good. She was allowed to address the Board of Education and said, quote, "Look, I enjoy the groovy tunes and I am with it, man. This is the 1960s, not the 1920s, can you dig it?" In June of 1979, One of her former students nominated Mona Kowalski for induction into the Ghs Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Miss Mona.
In Genoa janitorial circles, there is one name that stands out above all others: Wally Scrubbly. Scrubbly was single-handedly responsible for the unofficial janitor's Bill of Rights at GHS. It came from this incident in 1952. Scrubbly started screaming cuss words and quit his job in the middle of the afternoon at GHS. Why did the dedicated professional quit? According to eyewitness accounts, Scrubbly yelled, quote, "Who had the stupid idea for a contest to see who could eat the most deviled eggs? Idiots. Let them clean up all the vomit." Unquote. Teachers were walking around the halls complaining of the stench. Administrators were trying to coax staff members to clean up the vomit. Some teachers were throwing up themselves as part of the chain reaction. The superintendent went out searching for Scrubbly, and found him drinking whiskey at the tavern. After agreeing to the pay raise, Scrubbly returned to the school and cleaned up the nauseating regurgitation. When asked by a teacher how he could clean up the disgusting vomit, Scrubbly allegedly said he was half-crocked and that helped. Wally Scrubbly saved that day, and many more just like it as a highly trained janitor at GHS. Very few are inducted into the Ghs Hall of Fame the first time they are nominated. Scrubbly has that honor. Congratulations to Wally Scrubbly, janitor extraordinaire.
This is the end of Volume 1. Volume 2 coming soon. Very soon. The next group of inductees will shock you. Be ready. Very ready.